GM, FOMOverse Radio. This is Austin Hamilton, your show host. Today we got Jeremy Penn on here. He's a FOMO holder number 667, all the way from New York City. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Jeremy.
I am a artist in my entire life, proud POC collector for quite a bit right now. Recently did the hooded sweatshirts for everyone. I know some people are anxiously awaiting theirs, and we're definitely giving them some FOMO with these, but they are coming, and so just sit back and just wait. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome, Jeremy. You had mentioned that you were at the New York City NYC NFT event. Were you able to find POC there in Times Square, or how did that go for you, man? I want to hear a little bit more about it.
Okay, so NFT NYC was a crazy experience. I had tickets to the actual convention, and then I was like, you know what? I have so many meetings with important people that are not going there just to speak or listen to people speak, but people who were actually making deals. So I sold my tickets to the convention, and it was a good idea. But I have this friend who's an attorney, and I onboarded him to POC. Actually, in many ways, he kind of got POC before me, but I got him really into that into the scene. But he had a office in Times Square, and while I was in meetings, we kept getting these little tweets about POC potentially being at NFT NYC. And you know how it is, like, he's got a following, and
a cult.
People have their alerts on. We're not a cult. But it's you're in the rabbit hole and you're stuck there, and you just kind of enjoy the journey. So I was downtown, and I texted my friend. Now he's an attorney, so this whole world is really exciting to him outside doing real estate contracts. So anytime he has opportunity to like get into the POC world, he's salivating. So I'm like, look, I'm downtown. Once we get a tweet, your office is right there. Let's just meet at your office and just wait, because something's going to happen, and it's going to be in Times Square. So we're sitting in his office, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just get out of here, chill in Times Square. It's not that cold out, and just see what happens. And a tweet goes out about POC really enjoyed someone speaking. So which we read as, all right, so he's obviously at one of these lectures, he's one of these talks that's happening at NFT NYC. And if you look at the video from Siblings from JC, you see the video of him walking past, which I think is one of the funniest videos ever. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I seen a few videos. The video I seen with JC, he was up on that third floor or top floor or whatever, and there was
this one's different.
Okay.
So I'm getting there, but before that, in the room where POC said he enjoyed the talk, JC was in that room, and he was kind of like walking past. He was looking at him chewing gum. It was for me, it was hysterical. It was like complete like observation mode. And here was this guy with this mask, and it was really cryptic and cool. And later, like right after, POC sent a tweet out about meeting him at the roof and for a party. And I couldn't get my friend up into the party, so I ended up staying down in the lobby of this hotel in Times Square called the Edison. And then the tweet went out that said, meet me in Times Square to take a selfie. Okay. And so I'm like, let's just walk out of the hotel. We're right there. Let's just wait around, see what happens. We're looking at all the billboards. I mean, I grew up in the city. I maybe been to Times Square 4 times in my entire life. I avoid it completely. But here I was staying around in Times Square looking for an anonymous NFT creator. I got like Elmo smoking dope over here, and it's just, all this crazy shit happening. And then all of a sudden, like this guy with this big robe just walks out into the middle of Times Square with the blue stripe across his face with makeup covering his mouth. It's supposed to be one of the muted poets. And we got the tweet that said, come take a selfie with me. So everyone's there taking photos, referring to him as Pac. And it just kind of snowballed because everyone was like, what's going on here? Who is this person? Everyone's like taking photos. And the guy was super cool. It was really just, the community of Pac collectors is really strong and everyone's out to like help one another. Um, and so everyone was really cool. My friend had book, his book bag there. And I remember he had like a bind, just a line sheet binder of pages. And I took it out of his bag and I held it up and I like took a photo with Hawk with the book
Yeah.
of pages. I was like trying to get him to eat them,
Uh huh.
the whole lost
Okay.
book
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Um, I mean, this story goes on, and I'm trying to condense it. It was. I lived in this city, like I said, my entire life, and I've never experienced anything this crazy before. Like I've been stuck in like basements, like crazy shit. This was next level, um, crazy vibes. And after he's done taking selfies with everyone, he we get a tweet that says something along the lines of like, "Now get ready for what's next." Okay.
And you're
Yeah,
Are you still standing right there next to Pac?
yeah, yeah. Everyone's there taking
Okay.
photos and all of that. And the instant Pog sent that other tweet about like what's going to happen next, this guy gets up. I'm sure you guys have seen the photos. Him taking his robe off, and he's covered in wires. Right
Yeah.
now, the survivalist would say, "You're in the middle of Times Square. There's a guy covered in wires. Get the fuck out of here."
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
not a good thing. I was like totally one of the sheeple there, just like, I'm in it no matter what. My friend was like, we got to get out of here. This is um, really sketchy. But we stayed, and they were like, you know the story, the iPods connected to him with QR codes. Are you
Yes.
there?
Yep.
My screen's freezing.
It's okay. Yeah. You
Okay.
lagged out for a second. You came back.
Yeah. So everyone was grabbing the iPods, and the POC community being what they are, everyone thought, everyone scan it. There's maybe a couple of hundred people there. Everyone will get something. So everyone was giving each other the QR codes to scan it, and it just wasn't working. And then the few people, I don't know how many people got those codes, but the ones who didn't really talk about it because it was one of those situations. It was like Willy Wonka. Like you get the golden ticket, go the fuck home. Like
Yep.
it was Slugworth is going to come out of the corner and take your cell phone. I mean, people were offering 2 ETH. I heard 3 ETH offers for people's cell phone if they had the code, and that is a Times Square story.
Wow. Yeah. See, two things. One thing. So I was watching it live, and when I seen Pac open up his robe or his coat or whatever, and I seen those wires, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like some explosive or something. I was like, no
Yeah,
way! Like I'm like, oh my god, this like an event gone wrong. I'm like, holy crap! And then like a couple seconds later or something, people are grabbing phones, and I'm like, huh, okay. Excuse me. I was like, okay, so they're not bombs. Like, I was worried there for a minute. Uh,
yeah.
but
I mean, I don't know. I'm questioning myself now. Like that's where my friend's head went. Like we're in Times Square. This guy covered in wires, and people are just like jumping on, wanting more. And I'm one of those people. It was definitely, in hindsight, I'm thinking that could have been. And the guy who played it, nobody was even thinking about the fact that he was a famous actor.
Right. Right.
People couldn't make. People didn't make. They were so caught up in the hype of it all that it was like FOMO in real life. It was honestly one of the craziest moments I ever had in the city, and probably the only time I really felt that there was like a potential threat for people who actually had that code.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think it was by pot collectors. I think it was just like there was just mayhem and energy there that it felt very intense at one time.
That's crazy. Yeah. So me and a couple of my buddies were watching, and after I think it was JC was flashing the code, for people to scan. He was trying to get everybody to do it. It was funny. I was at work. I was getting all my buddies around. I'm like, "Hey, scan this." We're all trying to get like a close up of the QR code, and we're like, "It's not working. What's going on?" And that's when we kind of came to the conclusion. It's like, oh, it seems like you can only scan it once. So
Yeah, but it didn't
that's
work right
crazy.
away. So if you scanned it once and if you were the first one to scan it, that didn't necessarily mean you got it.
Hmm.
It worked at random times.
Wow. I
So
didn't
like
know
I
that.
know one that was scanned like 30 times minimum, and then 31st time it worked.
Wow. That's so crazy. I'm sure that was just an adrenaline rush, and nothing
Yeah.
like that's ever happened before. So that's crazy. You still there?
Yeah. It was a good time.
Okay,
Definitely
so
something I'll never forget.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, that's I had FOMO myself, missing out on that NYC NFT event. I'm like, man, maybe I need to go next year. I feel like by next year there's going to be a lot more groups, a lot more people I feel like that are having shows and promoting it and stuff. So, maybe FOMO will have something there next year.
Yeah. I think it's a matter of time. I mean, maybe NFT NYC will be in the Fomoverse itself.
We'll all have our little VR goggles on.
There we go.
Shout out my
You guys
girlfriend. She got me a Oculus for Christmas.
Oh, shout out to your girlfriend. That's good
Yes.
girl.
Yes, came in
Nice.
clutch. Thank you, Sammy.
Nice.
So you're releasing a new NFT project called the Anti-Heroes. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. It's actually a project that I started in 2009.
Really?
Funny enough. Yeah. Um, and just the digital media was never part of it. It was really all about, it was almost like a sociological experiment. I mean, it's very Pock-esque in the behavioral aspect of like what people's reactions are to certain things. Um, but with the idea of smart contracts and the idea of digital, this kind of adding movement to it, add another dimension to it. So I think for the past year, I've been making these into NFTs
That's
as opposed
fantastic.
to just being the other artistic mediums that they live in.
Perfect, man. Let's go ahead and show the audience here your trailer you put together. This thing is beautiful here.
Now that he has gone away.
have wandered far from the main path. Human perfection still marches in the right direction.
And sick trailer.
Thank you so much. You guys are getting the exclusive look. That has not been released yet. Well, now it has.
A little sneak peek.
Yeah, for sure. So the story behind those, the work it goes to 2009. I had my first art show in New York City in 2007. And my career was just starting. It was on an upward trajectory. And I've always had this fascination with vintage stuff, this kind of like things that are ephemeral that people just throw away, like vintage, like old firework labels or old matchstick labels. And just old books, old photos. A photograph always there's a guy, Roland Barthes, who wrote Camera Lucida, who talks about the philosophy of a photograph and how it's like a moment of death, like it'll never happen again. I'm fascinated with this idea of one frame, and that one frame could define someone's entire life if you just look at it, right? And one of my collectors out in San Francisco, her grandfather was a prison warden and had this huge box of original mugshots from like the early 1900s. I'm talking about 1901 to like 1913.
Oh my gosh, these are photographs?
Yeah. So these are original mugshots, and she sent them to me. Now, as I was saying, my career was going upward, and then I get this box of photographs, and I just knew that like it stopped me in my tracks, and I knew I had to do something with these photographs. And 2 years later, I didn't paint anything that I was painting before. I was just focused in on this particular series, trying to create art out of it. And I just got sucked into the rabbit hole of like their lives and who they are and why I'm perceiving them a certain way. And if I remove their numbers, do I look at them as being good or evil? Like there's this whole theory behind this one frame and these prison mugshots in general. So it's been a work in progress for a long time. It goes really deep into the symmetry of their eyes. And I don't know if you're familiar, it's a very old theory, Japanese theory called senpaku. And in Japanese, san is 3 and paku means white. So senpaku eyes are called the 3 whites. And if you look at anyone's eyes, normally you see white on the right and white on the left of the iris. But if you're looking straight on and can see it underneath, that means you have senpaku eyes. And the Japanese believed that people who had senpaku eyes were destined to die young. And they were saying that because the eyes are slowly rolling into the back of their head, you were closer to death. And your fate was going to be a tragic death. And a lot of prisoners had it.
Yeah.
A lot of these prisoners died, and a lot of these prisoners were wrongly convicted. And if you look back in history of the people who had senpaku eyes, Abraham Lincoln, JFK, Robert Kennedy, Princess Diana, Sharon Tate, Elvis, Marilyn Monroe,
Wow.
Heath Ledger, Brittany Murphy, you name it, they all had senpaku eyes. And so
Let's see, do I have
the
it?
no, you're good. I judge people right away. I'm like, yeah, stay with it. It's pretty rare. So yeah, I mean, my artwork goes pretty deep into this stuff, but the NFTs are going to be like a little bit of a choose your own adventure. So I'm not giving people the entire story of what these people were arrested for. You will receive the mugshot and a little hint of their story in the background. The music is scored by a friend of mine named Nino Cipriano. He's big in the ape community. He's a hell of a guy. He's such a gem of a human being and super talented.
And Bored
Uh,
Apes?
he's like the king of derivatives. He like knows all the artists, and he's launched his own projects, derivatives of Only Force, called The Haunted, and he's part of the Ape DAO. I don't know if you're familiar with the Ape DAO.
I'm not.
It's a DAO that holds one of the largest collections of apes. Anyway, he's just a great guy, and he's a super talented music guy. He's a producer, and he did all the music behind each piece. So everything is kind of the story is there, and I'm trying to develop the contract now. So the longer you hold the NFT, the more of the story will be revealed. Almost like a something that's pixelated becomes unpixelated.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I feel like, that's a brand new idea. We talk about traditional art or, old school art, whatever you want to call it. It just stays that way. Somebody paints a picture, it stays like that. It's never going to change no matter how much time goes by. Well, it's interesting with these smart contracts and everything you're building and creating on. You can actually change the way the image looks over time, which is very fascinating to me. So, congrats to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still looking for the NFTs are done. If any coders or anyone, POC especially, um, if anyone knows how to get that done or could refer to me as someone, I'd love to be connected because that is the last piece of it all.
I'm sure somebody in FOMO here would love to help you out. I know
Yeah,
we got a great group of people here, so I'm
the
uh,
best.
shout out Jeremy. Somebody give this guy a hand here.
Yeah, for real.
Do you have any plans of coming out with like FOMO hoodies too, or like some socks, or you guys have any plans for that or anything?
Look, I have art has been my full-time career forever. I launched a streetwear brand, two of them in the past 3 years, and they have been consuming a lot of my time
Oh,
because of there's just been a lot of demand, and these were like just small, kitschy projects that I was doing, but it kind of caught fire a little bit, which is a good problem to have. I just didn't have enough um, time to focus on my art and all this. But I have the right people in place, and this idea, hooded sweatshirts, it was something I felt like it needed to happen, right? Like there was something strong about our community, um, and repping a hoodie. It just felt like it needed it. Totally, just I couldn't sleep without it happening. Um, Doing more of them, I don't know. This was these
yeah.
these were special. I don't want to start doing coffee mugs or anything like that. Um, Although it would be very cool to do one of those heat changing mugs that are just like a black mug, but or it's a white mug, but when you put hot liquid into it, it turns black, but the diamond is just there in
Nice.
white. Maybe that has to happen.
Um, Bringing my girlfriend up again. She does customized cups, so if you need some help or something, just let me know.
Yeah, I may need it. I don't know what other merch. I definitely want to do something. I mean, the logo, the design is just really strong and simple, and I love that kind of aesthetic. So Let's get everyone their hoodies and we can circle back. I know people are very anxiously awaiting them, and the mail system is crazy here.
Oh yeah. So apparently, I was hearing there's like a load. There's like semis backed up on the highway coming to
Yep.
Colorado because they're like protesting these semis. I guess this semi truck guy, his brakes failed and hit somebody. Now he's like in jail for like 20 years or something now. And I mean, it sounded like it wasn't the dude's fault because the brakes went out, and so now there's all this like protest and the semi. It's like stop the semis from coming to Colorado. I'm like, wait a minute, I still need my stuff. Like, I'm sorry to hear about it, but I still need my stuff. So, yeah, no, I feel you on like the distribution and the shipping and stuff's kind of been a pain lately.
Yeah, so I just ask everyone to be patient. Um, Everyone will get theirs. And we're at 93%. And there was just a couple of them. I'm just waiting to get confirmation of the formatting of their address,
Hmm.
and then they'll go out. And all the domestic ones are out already. And most of the international ones are out.
Well, man, I'll
So
tell you, they're comfortable. You guys did a flawless job with the drop. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, I feel like you guys accepted Ash before any NFTs or any drops or anything. I think you guys like made it first there, so kudos to you guys doing that.
yeah, it was thank you. It was all community, it's about being in the POC ecosystem. Look, if I could consult, we were talking before about all the NFT NFTs we bought and all the shitty little things I bought over the years. I shouldn't say years, I should say months. It feels like
It
years.
feels like a century.
But if I can consolidate everything and just be in the POC ecosystem, I would.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I believe in nothing this strong in the space. So like this is Ash. I mean, I couldn't accept anything else but Ash. I believe in it that much.
I feel like I've heard a lot of talks about like Ash being its own little ecosystem, which it is now. I hear a lot of talk about like its own platform, like an Ash only platform, kind of similar to like OpenSea and stuff like that. So I could really see this taking off, and I mean, if you just happen to have like the first pieces of POC and the community and stuff, I think that could really be something special later down the road.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really curious to see what happens with FOMOverse. I think we have some really interesting people here who can help build some of the architecture of all of this, the economy and all that. I mean, I just for the first time saw Rod Ortega's piece, and I'm just blown away by it.
Oh my gosh.
Um, that dude is crazy talented. So yeah, I think some really interesting things are gonna come out of being part of the F family. I mean, I know that I can't imagine. I mean, I understand people need liquidity, right? I
Right.
understand people get into hard times. Um, but how this is like the one, this is my treasure right here.
Yep. FOMO.
FOMO is my treasure. I'm never letting go of this.
Right. You could sell off everything and just still be happy with just holding FOMO.
Exactly. It's not about the money here.
No.
I mean, it was a gift,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and we have to make something out of it. And we'll see what comes of it. And I think our community is the paper hands are going, and the community is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It's
Which,
almost like the merge project, right? It's almost like burning the paper hands and just merging stronger people together. I mean, I may buy some more plots. I mean, I'm at that in that mindset of just like trying to get as many like just concentrated believers into the FOMOverse.
You want to try to more you want to try to buy some more FOMO or some more merge?
No, some more FOMO.
Yeah, have like two
I
or
mean,
three parcels.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
that would be
And it's
the ultimate.
not even thinking about buy for building, just for community, right? Like
Yep.
I don't like flippers either. I like to hold. I mean, this is why I'm building my NFT the way it is. I want people to hold it so the story reveals over time. And I think I learned that from Pac also. Like that is patience
Hmm.
and so investment in the artist. So I think the more believers we have, the stronger the community is.
Rome wasn't built overnight.
No, it wasn't. But it may be time to buy another plot.
I agree. I
Yeah.
that's gonna be one of my goals next year is try to buy a FOMO before they run up because I just have this feeling like we're all gonna wake up and then you're talking 10 ETH. I mean, who cares about the floor? But it's like if you want to try to buy another one, your time is ticking.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of FOMO and the idea, I remember I sent a tweet out, right? And I don't tweet much. I mean, I'm a visual artist. So, like, my medium or my platform that I used forever has been Instagram
Nice.
because I'm putting visual things out. So, when the NFT world started like coming into my life more, I was like, oh shit, I got to go back to Twitter. I didn't use it since 2017. Um, and I saw like when the whole FOMOverse happened and Pac was sending these tweets out about like the portal's gonna open and all that. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking to myself, I had this moment, I'm like, guys, we're in the FOMOverse right now. This portal is transporting us into it. Like people are, it was like a social experiment. Like the FOMO was people's behavior was the FOMOverse, right? Like the portal was taking you into it. Um, and I tweeted about it, and like Pac recognized that tweet, and it was like kind of this one moment where like I took a step back, and I was like, we're acting like it's like Black Friday, right?
Hmm.
Like running into Walmart.
Yeah.
Um, so I had that like one mindful moment, and I felt this is some crazy behavioral shit, and then I just like ran into Walmart and tried to grab a Tickle Me Elmo as well. But um,
Hopefully you found
yeah,
one.
yeah, no, I did. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think there's something. I don't know what the theories are about what's going to happen. I don't. People have theories about what's going to happen with the FOMO and F and being partners with Pac. I have no idea, but hey, I'm here for the long run.
I think when Pac says, we're partners and it's 50%, they're going to do the burn where it's burnable. And I just think that's, I mean, like you said, it's like a treasure. Literally you're partners with arguably the best creator of our time.
Da Vinci, Da Vinci.
And you get the opportunity of being a partner with him. Like, when people in FOMO chat, they're like, "Man, when's this burnable? I'm ready." I'm like, "Do you even know what you hold?"
Let them burn. Let it burn. I mean, that's fine with me. I mean, I'm here. Anything to weed out the paper hands. I mean, and keep the believer stronger. I'm never burning this. I'm so deep into uh, the Pac world right now that's just like I don't even want to come up for air. It's so interesting to me. And it's not even like his tweets, it's more about watching the behavior around everything. It's fascinating. Um, I am curious as to what happens with what happened in Times Square with those QR codes. That's going to be a fascinating thing as well. And it makes me think, right? Because here it was, there were, I think, 30 people who got access to that QR code, and that's a pretty rare. That's a pretty low number for an edition of something. And so Pac created FOMO. He gave us FOMO. We're doing what we were doing with it. Um, he's mentioned it a few times. I don't know how much more he's mentioned it. Um, and I think with the Times Square thing as well, it was handed over, but nothing is people are just waiting to see what happens if the ones who got that QR code. So I'm curious, like, it makes me think, does Pac have a plan for all this?
You
Like,
know,
is he,
I feel like everything kind of goes together. Everything kind of he's got a plan for all this. You know,
yeah.
everything ties together.
I mean,
So
it is very Fibonacci, it is, there are guys, I onboarded probably 17 to maybe 22 people into Merge, people who had never bought an NFT before. And one of these guys is worth multi millions of dollars. Like,
nice.
I don't even know, hundreds, right?
Wow.
Um, and I remember sitting at the table with him, and he's like, I know Ponzi scheme when I see it. Like, this is it. You don't know who it is. You're just buying this, whatever it is. And he's like, this is a complete scam. I'm like, just sit back and just hold it. He bought, I said, just buy one merge. And, um, it's going to be interesting to see how people behave having that one thing, and what the returns may be. Who knows? I haven't checked the floor on that at all. But people's first experience with an NFT, it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out, like how it shakes out for them, what their thoughts are.
So I ended up buying another merge the other day. I withdrew my. I wasn't one of the first to withdraw it, 'cause I know there's a couple people in FOMO that actually withdrew it the first day, and they got away with it. And I don't know like what happened to it or anything, but I ended up withdrawing mine. Whenever they redid the mint, and then so the other day I bought one on my Nifty, and I'm just keeping it there. I bought it for 900. I think the floor right now is like 820 or 825 or something like that. It's kind of like going back and forth. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the story. I haven't done much research as far as like the blue ones. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out Lost Poets. Um, so that's like where my head's been lately, aside from like finishing up all these sweatshirts, which is taking up a lot of time. The Lost Poets thing has been fascinating to me. So I don't know what's going on with the blue dots and all that. I just bought a pack of, I don't know, pack of 19.
Oh wow.
And I just like, we'll see what happens.
That's a nice stack. So I was actually on Twitter. They were talking about how this guy was trying to sell a blue dot mass for 30K, right? On OpenSea. And this random DAO came through, drops them a 3 mass black, and they lost their blue mass because it merged.
Wait a second. Wait.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait. Go back and explain that to me.
So
Someone airdropped.
and basically sniped their blue mass, killed it.
So anyone could do that.
Yeah, I don't think we're safe anymore. If if you have like a red mass or blue mass or something rare, I think maybe you could put it into cold storage or something and turn your receipts off or something. But yeah, no, they had a blue mass dot. Tried to sell it. Somebody seen their OpenSea address and boom, sniped them.
Can people just go through OpenSea and just find the blue one and just start airdropping?
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, there's a way that you can turn your receipts off. So
I don't have a blue one yet,
I
so
I don't
but
either.
I stress yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. So basically, the idea is like the blue ones are just going to become more rare then, right?
Yeah, I'm not an expert in merge, but apparently there was going to be some surprises for the blue holders. I think there's 50, or there was 50 of them. I don't know.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Lost Poets? Do you have any?
I have three. It was funny. So originally, I only bought 3 pages. I don't know what I was thinking. I had the ability to buy a lot more, and I was just like, oh, I'll just buy three. I just wasn't really using my head, I guess. It's a lesson, by the way. But so I bought three. I wanted to mint two and then keep a page. Well, I swapped them for the poet the first day that you're able to, and I accidentally did it on all three, on all of them, which turned out to be a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have 3 poets, fed one of them a page, and that's where I'm at with it. What about you?
Uh, I have 3 poets. I bought a bunch of pages, not a bunch. I bought a few pages. I fed one of them 2 pages. I fed another one 1 page, and one of them I have no more pages to. I mean, the other one is muted.
Yep.
Not by strategy, just because I haven't bought any more pages to feed them.
Right. Same. Um.
And I don't think my poets have anything else to say. They say it all. Um, but what happens with this? I mean, I look at this from an art historical perspective, where you look at an artist's career work and their aesthetic over time, and then you see such a shift from the black and white, like kind of silver tone art of Pac to this colorful portraiture generated. Well, I don't know what it is. It's like GAN software, whatever it is. Um, these beautiful kind of abstract pieces, and it's a huge departure from his work. I mean, I haven't seen anything of his that looked anything like Lost Poets.
No.
So I think it's a really important project for the artist's career. And I have no idea what's going to come of it. I don't think everything can't just come down to burning to ash, right? Like, that's not how. There's something more mystical with the Lost Poets project. That's not just a statement on currency, like the other pieces.
You know, it's like every single day people are so obsessed with, can you burn this? Can you burn that? What about then? Can you burn this? I'm like, why don't you just settle down and over time we'll figure out what's burnable and what's not. Like, just take a chill pill, just breathe for a little bit. Like, if you want to go burn something, just go buy a cube and burn it. I mean, you hear what I'm saying, Jeremy? It's just like
I do.
everybody is so obsessed with hey, is this artist, you think it's going to be burnable? It's like, dude, like, just zoom out. Like, we're barely started yet. Like, just hold
Yeah.
on.
It does concern me a little bit about people who have not experienced the downside of the the upswing. right? There's so much FOMO. There's so much hype and energy around shit coins and projects and all of that. And like, there are corrections in life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just how it works, right? Luckily, we're talking about a blue chip artist, and I believe over time he's certainly going to be um, the top of the top. Um, but all the other projects and all the other things, I mean, when people are too heavily invested in something, and then things come crashing down, I'm concerned about people's mental health. And I think that's a big thing, that an initiative that should take place, like support for people when shit does hit the fan, because it will. Eventually, there will be a correction,
Oh yeah.
and things will come back. I mean, look, Web3. I mean, this is the future, right? But people get too heavily invested in one thing, or they get. I have a friend who made a killing in one shit coin and then thought he can like double it and ended up losing it all. And they're chasing. It's street addict behavior. Um, and eventually, you can just be in a world of trouble, and that can feel really, really shitty. So, I'm not shilling anything, but there's a really interesting project that's coming out. I have nothing to do with it, um, but it is going to be surrounding mental health. It's the from Vultura. I don't know if you're familiar with the guy Vultura. He's doing.
Is he a admin on Dell's Discord? Do you know?
I don't think so. He's an ape. He goes under Vultura. Uh,
I'm thinking of somebody else then.
anyway, he's creating a project called Psychedelics Anonymous, and it's going to be surrounding. I mean, the artwork is incredible. I haven't seen artwork like this yet, and there's a beautiful message in all of it, and it's going to have support for people who um, need things like that. I mean, there's a ton of homo. People are doing all sorts of things to try to get on their whitelist. Um, but it's an interesting project that I think is going to focus on helping people in these times. People FOMO too hard, and then the floor falls out.
Well, like you
So
said, maybe they're chasing one thing, or maybe their buddy did well with something, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna try to be like that, and guys, do your own research, but you know, like I say, just put money in there that you can afford to lose if something bad ever happened. Don't put yourself in debt, and something bad happens and now you're just totally screwed. So no, I totally agree with you. Mental health, that I think that's something that people overlook, and I think it's important to just kind of relax and just don't overstep yourself, and just like I said, put in what you can
yeah,
afford to lose.
yeah, and this is by no means financial research, but
Right.
this is an important anecdote for people who get a little nervous, or they feel like they need to sell right away. Um, I had a financial advisor who I lost a shit ton of money with, and I just felt completely defeated by the stock market and all of that. And I took what was ever was left, and I was just holding on to it. And I was afraid to put it back in the market because I was treated, it was just a bad experience. And then March, I think it was March 2nd, 2 years ago, I decided to take whatever was left and put it back into the market. And that was right before COVID.
Oh my.
And then the market dropped. And I was like, I had no savings. Like, I put whatever was left in that. I mean, not when I talk about savings, I'm not talking about living money. I'm talking about just, you know,
Sure, sure.
savings, investment savings. And I just, said, you know what? I'm just leaving it there. I'm not gonna, like, I've already hit like the worst feeling. I just want to experiment again, and play it safe, not picking stocks, just putting it in like the S&P, and just let it sit there. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be patient, and there's nothing I can do about it anyway.
Right.
And the thing just came roaring back. So there's going to be people who are young. I mean, I'm in my 40s, so like I lived through a bunch of stuff. Give it time. Invest in, like, not financial advice, but invest in things you believe in. Invest what you could afford to lose, and just be patient. Especially with POC. I mean, POC is it's almost like an experiment of patience, right? Um, it all works out. I mean, he loves his collectors, and his collectors love him, and you know, I feel like he's partners with everyone.
Yes. It is just like a big, huge social experiment,
Yep.
and in ways I agree. He is partners with everybody. You know, he tweeted something out the other day. It's like, my work isn't designed to be flipped; it's designed to be collected.
I love that. I saw
And
that.
I think that's a very strong statement, especially for the space as a whole. You know, there's this whole debate, like, you know, are you a flipper? Are you a collector? I feel like too many people are worried about floor prices and, you know, how much is this worth and how much is that worth. But it's like you said, Jeremy, it's like over time that stuff will continue to go up. Not everything goes up, but you know, you can at least point out some blue chips, you know, stock market wise, Amazon, you know, Walmart, you know, stuff that'll be around for a while, you know. So, and I think POC is going to be around for a while. So,
I mean, I have no doubt.
um,
This is where I'm putting it all.
I got two last questions for you, and
What?
looks like the audience asked us a few questions. So maybe after that we can answer a few more questions
Of
and
course.
call it. So, first one is, what is your favorite shit coin?
Okay. Um, man, you had to ask that one.
Really?
So I I'm not touching shit coins. I have a friend, the same one who told me about, he made 100x on one and then lost it all. There is a very interesting coin though, not financial advice. I cannot, I don't have the time to keep up with shit coins and all that and be in all the forums. But there is one coin that it's pretty innovative. It's called ACYC. It's called All Coins Yield Capital. And basically, these guys are like docs. It's Nate Rivers. He's a cyber Kong. He's very well known on
Okay.
Twitter. He's leading the charge with some other people, and they have this algorithm that basically finds shit coins and they knows when to like pump money in and when to take it out. They're fully transparent. It's an interesting project, and I have a little bit in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I'm not trying to guess which shit coins are going to do it. I'll let them do it. They're the experts.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I invested things called like space balls. I had
I love it.
and I kept like it was fun being like, oh, my balls dropped. Like my balls are back up. I invested in something called Fren. I actually liked Fren a little bit, but again, like that's not. If anything, the only thing I have money in is all coins yield capital. I don't know much about shit coins. I just know that they do, and that's where I'm putting it.
Leave it to the whales, right?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with it.
Second question is, this will be interesting. What is your favorite crypto?
Uh, it's gonna sound boring, but I love Ethereum,
No, that's
and,
solid, man.
it's because I was investing in Bitcoin in 2013,
Okay.
And I thought I made a killing because I was selling it at $500 a piece. I
Oh
bought them at
God.
200. Um, and I'm still fighting with Coinbase, by the way. Um, I don't know if this podcast will ever get to Coinbase's radar, but fuck you, Coinbase. They are holding money of mine,
Hmm.
and they some reason I got um my account got flagged back in 2013 because I was buying and selling Bitcoin so rapidly,
Hmm.
just making little $100 profits. I was pretty young. Um, but they thought I got like caught up. I'm banned from Coinbase,
Oh
and
my
now it's giving me
God.
access to my. It's ridiculous because it was like during that whole Silk Road era.
Oh
I
jeez.
don't. I've never bought this shit online. Like I'm just here to flip this weird crypto thing, um, and I can't get a hold of them.
You
Just get
know,
access to my account.
I if somebody asks me about exchanges, you know, cool if you want to buy some on there, but honestly, guys, and again, do your own research, but I would take what you have off an exchange. I really don't think exchanges are safe. I think your best bet is throwing your crypto into cold storage. It's not your keys, not your crypto. I just don't feel like exchanges have your best interests. So I'm with you on that one, Jeremy. Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm still trying to get a hold of them, but yeah, I mean, I like Ethereum, and I say that because I don't really know much about the other ones. I mean, I like Sand. I think that's cool. I think the sandbox is really interesting. Um, Polygon. I mean, I like the eco-friendly aspect of that. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just know that Bitcoin it's like gold,
Yeah.
and
Yep. I agree.
it's exciting as watching paint dry. Just let it sit there. Um, Ethereum seems to be like the fuel for everything. So that would be my pick, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't know much.
So the audience here looks like this is Anders asked the first question. Anders says, this one can go to you, Jeremy. It says, if you bought more FOMO, would you burn?
No,
Okay. Next one says, Chris, he says, anyone see Paige's floor? I don't know. I can look it up right now. Wonder if it went up or something. I
I
speculate.
got my broom right here.
Okay.
I'm ready to sweep. That number is right. My poets are hungry.
Um, I imagine that Pages will be kind of like its own project, or something crazy will probably come out of Pages. Um,
There was a theory about a DAO, and the more words you have, the more votes you have within a packed DAO, which I thought was really fast. I mean, there's more to it, but I thought that was really fascinating.
so it looked like Pages went down quite a bit. Let's see, one single page, zero point 0.3 ETH.
Wow.
Okay, Bit Savage on here. He asks, can you keep blue on Nifty Gateway? I imagine that's probably the blue merge. Again, I mean, you could keep it on there, but I don't know if there's any way you can take off, receipts off a Nifty Gateway, but somebody might transfer you one, and there goes your blue dot. Um, and then the last question here, Chris. Do poets need pages? Uh, Jeremy, what do you think about that?
I think that they do. Not financial advice. at all. But I think that these poets are meant to talk.
There's a reason why they're able to talk and able to be fed pages. So.
Yeah, I think the mute poets, and I have one.
Mhm.
I think the mute poets will ultimately be burned. They're going to be dead.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I do think I don't know what the theory. I mean, I look at it as like, all right, so we already you see the floor price on poets that jumped up really high
Oh yeah.
once you couldn't get them anymore. And I think the same thing's going to happen when you can no longer feed your poet pages. You're going to wish that you did.
I guess we'll all have to see, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jeremy, for coming on here. It was a pleasure having you on the show. If
Yeah.
people want to find you, where can they reach out to you?
Well, right there, that is my Instagram and my Twitter, and both the same. You could reach out to me anytime. And anyone who order a hoodie, please be patient. And anyone who didn't order a hoodie, you missed everything anyway. So sorry.
Well, thank you again for being on the show. Anything else you'd like to say?
That's it. Let's just keep this community going and growing.
Awesome, man.
And
Well,
it's great.
hope you enjoy your day, and thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, guys.